Hello humans, it's Vega Vice. We're gonna look at a Milena video today because I was on TikTok. I made a TikTok about her before, and then someone commented that I should see her latest video, so that's what we're gonna do. It's 26 minutes long, so prepare thyself, get something to drink. I have tropical iced tea. I drank all of the tropical part out of it, which had all the sweetness, so that wasn't a great idea because now it's just black tea, not as sweet, but still good. Okay, but my thing with Melena, I've followed her for a while before. In the past, I followed her. Okay, I found her video about waiting to be intimate until marriage, and then I kind of I followed her. She was cute, funny, bubbly. Liked her personality. I liked that she was a Christian, or she is a Christian, and that I could relate to her, right? So I did what you do when you relate. You follow somebody. You subscribe. By the way, subscribe. To me. We'll get along great. Okay, but I subscribed to her, and then she started having some different awakenings and things, and we go through life, we change, all of the things, right? Well, now she has taken on the role of full on like what is the word, trad wife, I guess is the way what people are calling it. You thought I was joking. If you saw my TikTok about this, you think I'm joking. I carry this around and do this. I'm so serious. Yes, I do. There was so much product left. I'm not joking with you. These Fenty lip balm sticks or whatever. I sure do reapply it with the end of a tweezer. Yeah. Because I've been doing that for months, and it's just now getting to where it's probably empty. All right. But, and follow me on TikTok. My TikTok is Vega7Vice. At least that's what I think it is. Alrighty. So yeah, I have known of her for a while, and I just stopped once she kind of. I really feel like there's some mental health things going on. I'm not sure. That's why I was hesitant to do much talking about her stuff, but it is harmful to people that follow her if she's going to give out the wrong advice for like Christians, or just because you're a Christian, follow this way, or moving more toward like legalism. I feel that's the biggest fault that I find, and we're not supposed to live by the law, like we can't. So that's why Jesus died for us, so we could accept salvation as a gift. Okay, but I wanted to just take a looky-loo and see what she's up to lately. She's totally had a transformation in her style. She wears these types of things now almost exclusively, just huge Little House on the Prairie type dresses. And it's not a shading thing at all. Like, it's not a bad, I'm not saying it bad, I'm just saying that it seems like she takes personas and she just tries to, I wonder if she has BPD or like some identity thing. I'm not diagnosing, I'm just wondering. Because like, it's like she doesn't have an identity and she's trying to force herself into one, and now it is being ultra, like, I guess conservative with how she dresses, comes across very subservient to her husband, which I know we're supposed to be submissive to our men as Christians, blah blah blah, but you know what I mean. You'll see. Okay, you'll see.
Homeschool room because it's quietest little spot in the house, and my home is still sleeping, and so this is how I can get things done. So I have a couple questions here.
I do love her hair. Okay.
First, how do you respond to Christian women that complain about their husbands and kids? And this is something that I have been rebuked in myself, and so I have taken how someone has done it.
Let me just, while she says this, let me look up rebuke, because I know what it is, but I want to make sure that I get the right definition, because I've never heard someone say it that way. Rebuke is express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of their behaviors or actions. I don't know, it just sounds weird the way she worded that, but we're not going to nitpick. Okay, go ahead.
To me, to now.
Or will we? Stay tuned to find out. Okay.
how I will do it to someone else. And it's not, when I say rebuke, it's not like I'm over here like, stop that. It is more so because most of the time I feel like people don't realize this is what they are doing. And so I had, for example, I had a friend who was over and she had a toddler.
So I did listen to just this first little snippet, this first little story before I got on here. And just listen, okay? Just listen.
That was very clingy, and she just kept complaining about how like she couldn't have a conversation with me, and how anytime she tried to leave the room, or like it was just, I could tell she was just getting really frustrated by the clinginess of her daughter. And what I said was to my children and my daughter was, isn't it so beautiful how much her daughter loves her, that when she leaves the room for even a second, her daughter notices. Her daughter finds so much love and safety in her mother that she can notice it immediately when she's gone. And what a beautiful bond and love.
Sounds like gaslighting a little bit. Does it sound gaslightish? Do we feel a flame lighting just ever so delicately, swaying in the wind? Is that a little flame of gaslightery? It feels like, okay, I'll let her.
She has for her mother. And so I wasn't even necessarily saying it to the mother. I wasn't even like, I think I was just shining this in a light, in a different perspective, in a different way. And literally like 6 months later, she told me that.
Shine that light up your butt. I'm just kidding. Oh, go ahead.
That changed her life.
See, she said the friend told her 6 months later that changed her life. So Melena thinks she's out here changing lives. I'm not saying she's not. I'm just...
And I didn't even mean for it to be a rebuke or a correction. I was just expressing what I was witnessing. And in my eyes, I really did see it as a toddler who was genuinely so in love with her mother and found so much comfort in her mother.
So if your kid, and I don't have kids, but I'm just saying, if her kid, I'm wondering, is following her around all the time, like if Melena's kids are following her around all the time, is she going to find that same joy and perspective, or is she going to be a human and be like, okay, because I hear that, I don't have kids, but I heard that it is very, it's rewarding, but it's also exhausting, right? So we all know that's how that goes. What if it had gone the other way, though? What if you saying that indirectly, because you said you didn't say it to the friend, so what if you saying that would have made the friend feel even more guilt about feeling that way? Because it would have been like, oh, I should be looking at it like this, but I don't, therefore I'm gonna now have shame and guilt. What if she had that experience for 6 months instead? When you could have been like, I know how it is, and to get overwhelmed and everything like that, and it's perfectly fine that you're getting frustrated. I think it's lovely that your kids finding so much joy in it. Maybe you could look at it like that, but it's totally normal to also be exhausted. And speaking of exhausted, I know Melena's exhausted, okay? She looks very tired here, but just in her more recent, when I say recent, I'm saying the last couple years or whatever, she seems like when this shift happened with her that she just kind of tuned out, like she's zoned out mentally, and just that she's exhausted. And I feel like she's having, I don't know where the pressure stems from, but I feel like she's having so much pressure put on her, or if she's putting it on herself, I don't know, but put on her to keep having kids. This woman has, 5 kids or something, 4 or 5, like she's in boom, boom, I'm talking one after the other, traditional trad wife stuff. Like she's really seriously and like having all these babies, and then I just don't know that she's enjoying her life exactly, because but we'll go on.
Mother, that she noticed within seconds that her mother was gone, and I thought it was so beautiful. And so I was just like stating a fact, or like just stating something that I had noticed, but in the midst of that, she
not in the midst
completely changed the way that
in
she
the
was
midst,
because she was seeing it in a negative light. And so I think we really have to pray and discern with every situation, because it's going to be so drastically different, especially in the context of talking about husbands. I feel like that one is a little bit trickier. So I would just pray for wisdom. There has been a time where I did just tell someone that the way that they were speaking, I didn't find that what I did instead is, because sometimes I will do this too, and it also totally depends on how
Yeah.
close you are with your
Pray for wisdom, everyone. Don't go to her necessarily for the wisdom. Just pray for the wisdom, okay? Just saying.
friend. If this is the first time that you're hanging out with someone, I don't know that it would be the most wise and discerning thing to rebuke them that in that moment, unless you felt really called by the Spirit to do that. But this is something that I did with someone that I'm very close with, but she was starting to, and I was like, I can tell that this conversation will not be respectful or honoring to your husband. Can we switch conversations, or can you wait until you're able to do it in an honorable and respectful way? I would love to give you wisdom, but I want to make sure that we're not gossiping. And so even just something like that, I feel like cutting it off before you even notice, before it goes too far or too late, is
What?
also really well.
Did she say like she corrected the girl or rebuked her? Corrected the girl in front of her own husband? Or was that just in a girl group moment?
Starting to, and I was like, I can tell that this conversation will not be respectful or honoring to your husband. Can we switch conversations, or can you wait until you're able to do it in an honorable and respectful way? I would love to give you wisdom, but I want to make sure that we're not gossiping. And so even just something like that,
Okay, yeah, I could see like I see what she means. The idea of like if you sense something's going down a gossipy path and you're trying not to gossip, that you would kind of redirect. But see, that all depends on what the conversation was about. Because if it was like someone being heartfelt and vulnerable and opening up, and you come in with the no, I don't want to hear this until you're gonna be honorable and respectful, like it would be annoying. But we'll give her that one. We'll be nice. See, we're being nice.
I feel like cutting it off before you even notice, before it goes too far or too late, is also really wise. But then again, when you have kids and you're doing play dates and stuff, sometimes it's hard for those things to go. Someone asked, how long will your break be after the new baby? Generally, I feel like I do like a month, 3 to 4 weeks. It totally just depends. But that is like such a crucial time for me. My last postpartum was really, really, really difficult. In those first couple of days, it's like with every baby you have, your afterbirth pains get more and more intense. And with that last one, it was.
And after this, we are going to scroll down and look at the comments. So I hope you really do have more to drink than I do, because we're going to be here for a minute. I love you guys so much, just saying that. If anybody needs to hear it, and here's a hug if you need one. But like, I have ADHD, I think. But anyway, like, the comments, yeah, I saw a couple comments that were kind of funny to me. So we will look into that.
Really, 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 really intense, and I am preparing myself for it to be even more intense. And I feel like because my labor was so quick and so fast, I was like in a lot of like physical body pain afterwards. But it all just ends up being a blurb anyway. So yes, I will probably.
I feel bad for her in the way of whatever this pressure is she feels to keep up with having all of these millions of children and all of that stuff. She doesn't, like, it seems like emotionally she goes downhill. And I don't know if it's postpartum depression, if she's talked about that or not, or if it's anything like that. But I just feel like, take a breather, like, for yourself. I think she's so focused on that, on having that picturesque like marriage and family, that she just pushes herself to the wayside, you know what I mean? And like, I just feel like she should focus on herself a little bit more, not in a selfish way, but in a self-caring kind of way, like because something's dragging her down. Like, this is her, she's not the same. And not to say, not in a way of like, oh, she's grown. It's like not the same in a way of like the light is dimmed behind her eyes now. compared to when I first saw her. And at that time, I should say, she only was expecting her first child, or she already, it was right when, like, when she had her first child is when I saw her. So she wasn't overwhelmed or anything. She didn't, I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't, she didn't seem overwhelmed. She seemed like she was just, you know, like shopping in Target, let's take a picture, like that kind of thing. She seemed to be doing well, and now it just seems like this overwhelmed type feeling.
Like just end up a month or so is generally what I do. Maybe I'll do less, maybe I'll do more. I don't know. It totally depends on how I feel, but I don't like being online at all. Postpartum, I find that it's not fruitful, and I would much rather have those moments be with my babies. And what I actually do, because I just generally don't want to be on my phone, but I want to capture those moments, is I got our family a little handheld camcorder. In the past, I've given my kids disposable cameras. They all got disposable cameras. I had a disposable camera. And then my kids also have like mini little cameras, so they can like photograph their point of view of meeting this baby and having this like newborn.
That's
that I'm, like,
cute.
So obsessed with. But the new camcorder thing will be new because I want to document all these things, but not feel like I need to have my phone with me. What years have been the most and least?
Hopefully you don't post them online. And over the years, she has like stopped posting, I think, stopped showing her kids, but she'll still show them, but not their faces, which was a trend basically. Once people started calling out child exploiters and all that, then it became trendy to take your kids off of the internet. So then, yeah.
Challenging in marriage thus far.
Oh, what was it?
All these things, but not feel like I need to have my phone with me. What years have been the most and least challenging in marriage thus far? That's a great question.
The current one?
I don't really know. Our 7th year of marriage was a year that we really had to, I'd say, try in marriage. That was the year that we welcomed our 4th and we moved. And that felt like a lot of new things at the same time. And I was really freshly postpartum. And my husband's was also working a ton, and there was so many like different elements that were affecting our life that I would say that year, and it's not because of the marriage, it's because of everything else that's happening in life.
You know what, that little hair flip moment, I just got like an image of Harry Styles right there. I love that look. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're back to it. I just love her. I love her hair, and it looks like she plumped it up or did something to it today. I don't know. Okay, anyway.
And I feel like that's probably generally why most people have stuff that happens in their marriage. It's because of external stuff that's going on. I'd say the least challenging has been every year outside of that year. I don't know. I don't really like sit here and wander and ponder. I feel like one of the things that actually is the least fruitful thing you could do in your marriage is like sit and think about the negatives or sit and dwell.
We don't believe you. No, because like it comes across, the way the relationship comes across to us viewing it online, I'm saying to me, is that she has to take care of the house, home, babies, everything. I'm not sure how present he is during postpartum or during any of it, as far as being a supportive, like, husband and supportive, and you know what I mean, like that. So I don't really believe that it was just that one year, but that's just my thing. It's not, literally, I only have the information to go off of, the information she's provided to the internet to go off of, and their interactions and things I've seen. That's all I'm going off of. I don't really know these people, okay? So
in the bad things, because it's really not behooving anyone to do that. And I was just reading a Proverbs, it like completely shook me to my core. But it was saying it is a man's glory to overlook an offense or I'm trying to think of what it was. I should have brought my Bible over here, but it like shook me because I was like, oh my gosh, this is biblical to like not continue to do this. Like shook.
But that sounds like you're pushing things. I don't know if she means push things under the rug or just don't dwell on it after you've handled it. Because if something goes on in your relationship, you should both look at it and look at it in a godly perspective or whatnot, and then see what you can do about it. But shove it under the rug and it's gonna grow. You know, like a little monster under the rug is gonna grow, and then you know before you know it, it turns into a labubu and it like bites your head off or something. I don't know. Like, you want to be careful with that. It says, Proverbs 19:11, good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. That's what we try for. But be human. I feel like she takes the being human part out of things, or feels the need to. Legalism, I'm just saying. But yeah, you should try to be slow to anger and all that good stuff. But don't put it under the rug.
My Bible over here, but it like shook me because I was like, oh my gosh, this is biblical to like not continue to do this. That's really hard. Routines around hosting play dates. Do you still keep naps and routines the same? This is a great question. It totally depends. It totally depends on when the mother and their children can come and what our day is looking like. Generally, I do play dates before nap time or after nap time, especially because nap time is when I work, and so I can't really not do that section or that block of our day. So generally, this doesn't end up being a thing, and I will like let.
I was gonna skip around because this doesn't pertain to me. I don't really care about this question as much. I mean, none of it pertains to me, but you know what I mean? I just, okay.
Moms know, and generally those moms also have nap times they need to go to, so most naps, or like most play dates are done before noon, and like in the early block or later, or if it's like a whole outing thing, then yes, we skip naps, but those don't happen nearly as frequently, and if they are, we're not hosting them, we're like out at the zoo or like out at the lake.
Okay.
And so it makes sense to skip, but if we're like at home, generally people are because we do school throughout the entire year, and because I'm having a baby later in the summer,
Wait,
it just made sense for us. And
is she homeschooling these kids? I know she went through that era.
because we have started the new school year, we start like ahead, because we do school throughout the entire year, and because I'm having a baby later in the summer, it just made sense for us, and this is just what we've always done. But my biggest tip, and this is what I was mentally telling myself yesterday, is like treat each day like that day and celebrate each day that you get it done, because it's so easy to get consumed by what the whole year is supposed to look like and all that needs to be done in the whole year, that it can be so overwhelming to see.
I'm pretty sure I skipped. See, I shouldn't even skip anything because I think I skipped a question.
School throughout the entire hosting them, we're like out at the zoo or like out at the lake.
Sorry.
And so it makes sense to skip, but if we're like at home, generally people are gone before naps or they come right after naps. So that's how I negated that. And your homeschool tips, I was just thinking about this.
Okay, she
yesterday
legit
because
she is still homeschooling these children. Oh my goodness. That's okay. I mean, I would do that too, but then again, I'm just not sure how that's, okay, never mind, nothing. I just wonder how it's going. I just wonder.
we have started the new school year, day by day, and celebrating each day that you are able to complete. And so it's going to add 3 people into the mix, but it's also exciting. And I find if you get overwhelmed by the idea or thought of having like all of this to deal with, taking it day by day, asking the Lord for wisdom and discernment is so helpful. There was a season where I was asking the Lord, like we had one child who was struggling with something, and I remember that night I had a dream, and the Lord just showed me that child being able to do this thing so well and fully and completely and like above anything I had ever expected them to be able to do. And it just brought me so much ease, because I think because like I'm a first-time generational in our generation to homeschool, I want to always do really well and always excel and always be ahead and this and that, because not that I feel like I need to prove myself, but
There's the shade to her parents. There is something with this, like she does throw shade at her parents sometimes. But I know her mom was like helping a lot, especially with one of the kids. Like she would come over a lot. during one of the eras of her child birthing situation, or when, how do you say this in English? There was a certain time where the mom would help a lot, but sometimes there's like this running thing that, like, I don't know, I think she was like, not resents her parents, but there's something about like how she was raised. I don't know, but it's just, I've noticed jabs sometimes come in with the parents. I don't know. Okay, be quiet.
It's just so exciting to us, and our kids just really enjoy it. But there are some things that are going to be harder, or that we're going to have to work on longer, and that's like the whole reason why we do it. But it felt like a really sweet little kiss from the Lord to have this dream, because it brought me so much ease to know, like, okay, they are going to figure this out. Like, we don't have to keep belaboring this. It's just going to take a little bit longer, and we just need grace in this area, and we're going to try different techniques, and we're going to try this, and we're going to try that. So that was really sweet. So I think just thinking of it like that too, of the whole, know your reasons for homeschooling, because that will make it a lot easier when you go to make decisions and figure things out. What are some boundaries you have in place for your phone usage? This is a great question.
None.
So I do blocks. So first thing
She used to, I don't know about her uploading now. I don't follow her on Instagram, but she used to upload literally, or not upload, post all of the time. So this is an interesting question.
Like right now, I am setting up myself for the day. So depending on what I have for work, I need to get things over to my assistant in order for her to be able to help me best. And so mornings, I'd say, are probably like the first, like in the midst of me doing like chicken chores and
Chicken
out in my Bible time,
Chicken chores.
sometimes filming, that is when I at least.
I'm sorry, that just sounded funny. Chicken chores. I forgot she has chickens, you guys. She's doing the whole homesteading bingo card is getting filled. But like, I might start using that term, chicken chores, but I don't have a chicken or anything, but like I still might just work that into my conversation. Like, oh, what are you doing? I'm just doing chicken chores. We've got to figure out, what is that going to mean? Can someone comment? What should that mean for someone without chickens? What do chicken chores mean? Like, cleaning? I'm doing chicken chores, okay? That sounds so cool.
30 minutes, just kind of chunking things out and getting things over so she could best help me that day.
I need an assistant.
And put away until 1. And then I get my phone out, usually, like yesterday, I didn't get my phone back out until like 3 because of the way that naps were going, and we had company over, and it just depends. But I try to block my phone usage, because my phone usage is highly attached to my work schedule too. So I like to do it in blocks.
We know.
And most people that have need to contact me know that. I do put my phone on ring, so like if I need to make a call or something, people can access it. Like yesterday, I needed to have my phone on me in the morning because I had a midwife appointment, so I did keep it closer, and I'm glad I did, because she ended up pushing it back. So I have a spot that I keep it in the kitchen, and so it's like there, so I could possibly hear it, but if I'm outside, I probably won't. But generally, people just know I'm not very accessible. I feel like my family generally gets irritated because I cannot be accessible at all times. And my thing with that is, no one should be accessible at all times. Like, it's such a weird new thing that I don't find that is helpful. And then depending.
ASMR break. Okay. Sorry. Okay. That's true. You shouldn't be accessible at all times. And your family should understand that, especially if you have mental health issues. Okay.
Depending on how the day is going, sometimes in the evening before I start like dinner and things, I will have some work stuff to do. It just depends. But I have found that like doing blocks like this is so helpful, or else it's so easy to like just pick it up out of habit, or just, so I just don't like that. I try to spend very minimal time on my phone, and when I'm on it, I feel like I'm very disciplined to like do exactly what I need to do on it, and then wait. And then once my kids go to bed, and this has been something that changed, because when I was pregnant and I was in my first trimester, I put my phone away really early, like and because of like the time and the way that the sun was setting and stuff, I just tried not to have any blue light on my face at all. But now once my kids do go to bed, I use like a little sliver of that time to get back to my friends and like text people back. So generally if I'm texting someone back, it's like in the evening. And so yeah, kind of just bouncing around. I feel like figuring that out is a really good idea for mothers. Do you have a certain amount of kids you're planning for, or are you letting God work? I love this question.
How many does Jordan want? I almost said do Jordan. That's the question. Jordan's her husband.
My husband and I were just having a conversation about this. I was like just weeping over this because I'm just so grateful and thankful for my fertility and like how I've been able to conceive so easily, and that we have such beautiful children, and 4 and Lord willing 5. Like it is just not something that I ever take lightly or something that I see as
Now, if she is about to say some stuff along the lines of because she's so fertile, she feels the burden of, not burden, I don't know, the responsibility of needing to have as many as possible, as many as the Lord wants. Because you could literally probably have 100. Like, I don't know the math on that. But if you're going to say that, I don't know.
like expected, or like I don't know. I am just so thankful. Like that, and that is such an understatement too. We don't necessarily have a certain amount. We have a pretty strong conviction in this area, but I choose to not publicly share that conviction because
it's 6. The number is 6. I'm just guessing.
Every family dynamic is so different, and every situation is so different, and the Bible is not as specific and clear cut in this area. So I do think there is room for wisdom and discernment for each family, and so I generally just don't share that with the public. And so I don't really have this answer, but I am just so thankful for the children that we have. And if the Lord blesses us with more, we would be so delighted in that.
This woman's about to have 25 children. I'm promising you that. Michelle Duggar, move aside. Here's Milena Ciciotti. No. What she's saying, she just I feel like she contradicted because she's like, I don't have an answer for that, but also, we have an answer, but we don't want to share that online. What that says to me, the only thing that could mean to me is that she is going to have, Jordan have decided she is going to have as many as humanly physically possible. And I don't feel like he would take into consideration her postpartum issues. That doesn't count, I feel like, to him. This is just my speculation. I'm just guessing. If she can physically produce a child in her womb, the child is going to come out and be walking on this planet, okay? They're going to have as many as humanly possible. That's what that means. Because you said you have a conviction about it, so you already know the answer, but you don't want to say it. You don't want to say that because you know it'd be controversial, or you think it would be controversial in a negative way, like that people would say, well, is that really smart because this and that? Because people have an opinion on anything anyway. Like, you could say you want 1, you could say you want 0, you could say you want 100. There's people coming out of the woodwork with their opinion anyway. But I think that she doesn't want to deal with the millions of opinions, or however many that would be coming down the pipeline there, because that's the answer. She's going to have as many as she can physically have. It would take a physical thing to stop her, is what the answer is. I thoroughly believe that. And they're going to keep doing this back to back to back, because they don't rest on this. They keep those kids a-coming. They keep them a-coming.
How have you approached discipline, praying on how to approach this? This is a really great question, and this is one of the things that I'm currently working on, my newest project.
Just say it. by the way. Just say it. Just say you're going to have, you know what? I'm going to have as many kids as I want to have internet. That's what I'm going to do. Why don't you just say it? Just say it, girl. You probably feel free. Say it. You know, like, I'm going to have as many as the Lord wants me to have. In translation, you're going to, like, because you seem to be able to carry them and have them, you're going to have, like, about 500. Just say you're going to have 500, okay? We don't, like, just say it.
I'm just so over the moon and excited about. It's not all going to be about discipline, but this will be one of the sections on it, because I get this question.
Did I miss something? Is she about to preach?
How have you approached discipline? Praying on how to approach this. This is a really great question, and this is one of the things that I'm currently working on. My newest projects that I am just so over the moon and excited about. It's not all going to be about discipline, but this will be one of the sections.
Is this going to be a Bible study, Melena? Are you about to lead a Bible study, Melena?
On it, because I get this question so frequently, and this question and many other questions that will be related to this topic and what I am working on, but I'm saving it for that because this is not just like an answer that you can answer in a Q&A.
Sorry, my dog drank water, now he's huffing and puffing. Okay.
It is such a multifaceted and requires so much diligence and prayer, like she was mentioning. So I will be sharing that really soon. No.
Somebody please let me know if she is going to start a Bible study, because no thanks.
Number one tip in getting everything done. I only have one child and admire you.
Oh gosh.
Everything done. There's different seasons where there are different priorities and different things that are on my list of like non-negotiables.
See why you don't represent yourself as being perfect online? Because people will look up to that and you're not even reaching it. Because you can't, and no one should expect you to. But now you have set the precedence, like, oh, I'm up here with it. I'm doing all of these things, and I'm dressing like this, and I'm able to homeschool. I'm able to do everything. Now somebody has come into your, following that has one child and feels overwhelmed and is like, how does she do it all? She doesn't. She just said she doesn't. That is why you have to portray reality. That's another thing that I have with her. I have a soft spot for Milena just because of, I feel like she's going through stuff that people are not helping her through, her family or whatever, like mental health wise, and I'm not sure. I'm just saying that. I feel like nobody's, I have a soft spot, but at the same time, you create such a world, like you try to make such an image that you want to be this perfect, like, you say, oh, I'm not perfect, only God's perfect, or I'm not perfect, blah, blah, blah. But then what you post and show the world is perfection and like, oh, even if you're sad, no, you're not, praise the Lord. Like, yes, praise the Lord, but I'm just saying, you come across differently and you've taken away the human part of emotions and being okay feeling the emotions and then giving it to God versus then, oh, you shouldn't ever feel these emotions, just go, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? I don't know. But that's why it's dangerous. Now people will look up to you and feel bad and judge themselves for not being able to meet that's social media in general, but for not being able to meet some standard that you don't even meet. You're just pretending to meet it, whether you mean to or not. That's how you are coming across intentionally. That's the character you're putting out there.
/ what I need to do that day. And I find that as a mother, having those written down is super important. I'll link a video I did a couple weeks ago talking about ways I was making homemaking harder than it needed to be. And that, I feel like that video really helps kind of accumulate everything together. But there's certainly,
I just burped, excuse me.
And I think most moms really need to get off social media because it makes it seem like that, but that's just not the reality of what is happening. But I do think there are certain ways that just come with doing it for so long, that come with having so many children. It's just, you gain wisdom and insight, and I feel like it just becomes your reality. And that is like,
also having family to help you helps. like I said, there was a point where her mom was helping a lot. I don't know what the dynamic is now. And then she has an assistant, but I know that's probably more for work, not like a nanny. But she, it's not just her. So I don't know what the situation is for the person who asked this question. But also, that's another reason, don't compare yourself, because you don't know what the tribe is that people have that are helping them versus you're just you and you're wondering how people get things done. Nobody's getting anything done around here. We're all just flailing about. We're flailing about in this world, okay? The rock that floats throughout space and time and all of that, okay? We're just all a hot little mess. But just make sure you're, be a hot mess. If you're going to be a mess, be a hot mess.
The hugest thing is that with the more kids we've had, this has been our reality for so long that we don't remember life before kids or life without multiple kids. And so when we go on a road trip to celebrate our 8-year anniversary, and within 15 minutes of us being on the road, our baby has a blowout and there's poop literally everywhere, we are not surprised. We're not like, oh, our road trip is ruined. We are supposed to be there. We're going to be late now and like this and that. Like, we don't go there. And so
That would do it for me. I'd be like, let's turn it around. This is a sign. This is a sign. I can't do it. The blowout. What do you mean it's everywhere? I'm like, what do you mean? I don't have kids. Like, blowout. I know blowout, but I thought it blow out, but it's still in the pants or something. Like, the extra clothes. Like, what, freaking, there should be baby hazmat suits. Maybe that would, probably not. That might be a suffocation risk. But I'm trying to say, what is going on with these babies and these blowouts? Like, what, was that all over the car? Sell the car. Like, throw a car away. I don't know. Oh, man, I love kids. I do love kids, but the blowouts scare me, okay? It scares me.
So that alone, I think, helps so much of like knowing the reality of your season. Like, when this baby comes, my reality, I know.
We're in the blowout season. In my blowout era. Not talking about my hair.
Be that I will not be on top of laundry like I usually am. And I know that I'm not going to be sleeping as much as I usually am. Like, I can expect to have much slower days. I think we really need to discern the season that we're in and the realities that come with that season. Because when we put something into a box that, like, it's a literal triangle and we're trying to put a box in there and we're like so frustrated, it's like that is not even the correct shape that's supposed to be in there. So once we reshape and remold, then we can fit in there, and then you'll be so much happier and have so much more space and not feel cramped and tight and feel like it doesn't fit because it wasn't fitting, it wasn't working. I found that alone has made things just so different. So I would suggest this mother write down her non-negotiables and watch that video that I did last week, because I feel like there's a lot of other little things in there too that is helpful to kind of reshift and feel like, okay, why do you feel like you're not doing everything, or what do you think that everything needs to be that is.
Look, I don't have kids. I have a singular dog right here. I don't even get stuff done. I don't know how anyone does anything. I don't know what's going on. That's me 100% of the time in life. I don't know what's going on. This is a 40-minute video. You guys better watch all of this.
Not like how old is your child, that makes a big difference. Like, there's just so many little factors that play into this idea of like getting things done, because it's so different when you have so many littles under the age of 6 versus having so many, but they're like, the oldest is like 15 or 16 and they're more spread out, or like every family dynamic and situation is just so different. So pray for wisdom in your season and pray for the Lord to help guide your days, because this is such a big one.
In my wisdom season. Oh, the last one? Okay, good.
When do you have time for sex when you have kids? Need some tips.
Bow chicka wow wow.
I think if you see sex as a non-negotiable, that changes things. If you view it like you need to eat and you need to drink, that totally changes things. The minute you start seeing it as something that's like an option, or that's something that, like, if all the circumstances and if perfectly aligned, then we will do it, especially after you have kids. You're never going to do it. And we view sex as one of the most beautiful things in our covenant marriage before the Lord, as something that is a gift, as something that He has given us as a blessing, as something that is so beautiful and so intimate and so intentional. And so because that's how we view this thing, this gift, that is what overflows out. But if you view it as like this chore, as this like thing you have to do, as something that you just don't want to do, that really changes it. So I would say if you and your husband both have this view of what intimacy and sex is, then you preserve it and you keep it and you admire it. And then you work for it and work to have time for it, because it's easy to say, like, now that we have kids, like, we just don't have time. I'm too tired. I do this and that. And yes, there are certain seasons where, like, you physically, like when you're postpartum, you cannot, like, you can't. And so you have to discern the season that you're in, but then also know that things are going to change. It's not going to be.
I'm in my chitty chitty bang bang season. What's wrong with me? Oh man, okay.
How things always were. You're not going to have everything perfectly aligned, and we really have to be willing to cater and change to the season that we're in. So something that may have worked last season now suddenly doesn't. But just knowing that it's not, seeing it as like a non-negotiable, like this is just something that we do together and we make time to do it, will be so helpful. And I would set yourself up too, if you're like trying to get back into the swing of things, to set it up in a way where it's like you don't let more than 48 hours go past without being intimate. And then that way you are setting, because if you are only being intimate once a week, that is not enough. Like, that is not enough. And I know people are going to argue and say, like, well, that works for our marriage, and it's like, no, if you look at a 30-day,
What do you mean, no?
And you are only doing that 4 times in those 30 days, you are failing very, very poorly. Look how low of a number that is.
Is she for real? So someone could come up to her and say, hey, we only are intimate once a week and it works for our marriage. And you would say no? She just said no. She's like, look at the number. Everyone has different drives though. Like, you should talk about it and stuff. But everyone has different things. Like, I don't, maybe she'll make more sense of it. Hold on.
And I know, I highly doubt there's any husband that is okay with.
What even was that number? What math did you do? It was like a 0.1. What number was that supposed to represent?
How low of a number that is. And I know, I highly doubt there's any husband that is okay with a score that low.
A score?
And so again,
we're scoring things? We're scoring things? We're scoring things now? What? I mean, I know that's the typical thing, like men have high sex drives and usually it's higher than the women, but it's like age, hormones, like women get a lot more into that when they get older too, and then his libido, and then what if there's health reasons or something? Like, I don't understand how it's a one size fit all. Like, by all means, I'm saying get it in, but like, if I just don't see telling somebody like no, like to someone else that's married and they say that it works for them, you say no? What?
The way that you're viewing it, the way that you're seeing this gift and the sacredness will highly determine the frequencies and how you make time for it. And so just know that it's probably going to not be as conducive. It's probably going to be really early in the morning or really late at night or in the middle of the day during a lunch break or at random times. And you're going to have to say no to some other things to say yes to this thing. But again, if the way that you view this beautiful little package and gift that the Lord has given you will highly influence the way that you view going about acting on this thing too. So
that almost felt like she was saying, if that almost felt like she was saying, okay, this is a gift from the Lord, which we know it is, amen. But in a marriage, okay, it's a gift from the Lord, and if you are not bangaranging like multiple times in the week, then you're not valuing it as a gift. You're not valuing it as much as me because I'm getting it in, but you say it's working for you, but no, you're not valuing that as a gift as much as I do because I do it more. Is that what I heard?
I'd be praying for a softened heart in this area of how you view it.
Nothing needs to be soft. Pray for rock hard. Stop. Oh, man.
Because it's just such a beautiful thing, and I wish more
It
people
is.
saw like how much of a gift it is, and how unifying, and how much the Lord delights when we delight in this area, and how much the enemy wants us to not, and how much the enemy wants us to be like.
I will say, okay, in the marriage it's very important and there's good connections and stuff like that. Synapse is going crazy, you know what I mean? But like, I'm saying it is true. That is a big thing. It should be a good area. I just can't see the part where somebody says it works for them and both people actually mean it. And then you come along and say, no, you need to be doing it more. Like, what if they, I don't know, medical. I don't know why, but just.
Like, no, this needs to be like this. And that just harbors so much insecurity and resentment. And love truly covers like a multitude of sins. And like when you are physically loving on each other, it is so unifying in both the flesh and in the spiritual and like in so many different ways. I really, man, the Lord has taught me so much about this, and I think it's so beautiful, and I think it's such a gift, and I think it needs to be prioritized even more so when you have kids.
Okay.
Even something as simple as making out during the day. I feel like that is something that is so helpful, is to make sure you're making out during the day. Make sure you're giving each other hugs. Like, make sure.
Yeah, rev that engine. This is a part that you need to talk to the men about now. Well, like, I guess, you know, maybe the husband should, but this is the part where there needs to be an insert of Jordan telling the men, hey, make sure you are revving that engine up regularly before we get off to the races. You know what I mean? Like, women need warming up emotionally. Bring her some flowers, bring her something cute, like, oh babe, I saw this flower on the side of the road, I picked it, here you go, boop, like that kind of thing. Or whatever she likes. Be revving it, you know, the intimacy as a whole, not just the sexual act, but then the sex act comes after that. You know what I mean? It enhances it. So that is not just, because she's like preaching to the women like you need to bang more, but also the men need to be more, need to bring the emotional intimacy so that all of the fireworks go off at the same time.
You're being physical with each other.
Happy 4th.
Not to say that you're gonna like sweep all your arguments under the rug, because I feel like that's just silly.
Ha! The rug has come back. Remember the rug? We mentioned that earlier.
Accusation or argument to make. It's like, no, we're just being intentional, being physical with each other, and we find that like fighting over laundry is not even something worth fighting over. It's not that we're not talking about our problem, it's just that our problems simply just go away because we realize how silly and how much of a problem it really wasn't even to begin with. So this is a long.
I wonder how much she has been gaslit to thinking that things that she thinks are issues are not issues.
Q&A. I apologize for that. I hope this video blesses you, and
Okay, that's all of that. So now we've arrived at 50-minute video. My video. Oh gosh. Okay. So yeah, not everything is an argument, should be an argument or should be an issue or whatever, but also I feel like she has had to put a lot of her own things underneath, like in a way that may be unhealthy. I don't know why I get that vibe. Like she's been putting things that may be big to her. If he feels like they're not big, then it's like, oh, okay, my bad, they're not big. You know what I mean? Just to keep the peace. Which I mean, to each its own, but I just hope that she's okay. And like, means all of these things that she's saying, but I'm just still, what was that number? I'm still stuck on the calculator moment. Like you're scoring your, because if you're just doing it just to check off a box because you're like, well, Melena said we gotta get it in, honey, we gotta can't go more than 2 days, so we gotta do this, then I don't know. It's like, I know it's helpful, like if you are arguing, it's helpful for making up when you, after you've addressed all of the issues, stuff like that. I don't know how I feel. Definitely, yeah, more activity is good, but to say that it's a one size fit all, I don't know. But definitely, like, guys should smack girls' butts if you're, in the marriage, in a relationship and stuff. That's good stuff. Also, here's my tips. No, but yeah, I don't know why that came across kind of weird. That part, that answer there, kind of got me from her. But we're gonna end this video now because it's almost an hour, and if anyone watches this whole thing, then I'll give you like, no, I'm not gonna give you anything. Let me be quiet because this might be like a binding contract if I say that. I say hi to you. Hi, here's another virtual hug. But thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe or something. And what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? But I'm totally right about the baby thing, right? We know that she's gonna pop out as many as humanly, physically possible, right? We already know this. You could just tell us, Melena. Just tell us. Yeah. But I will see you in the next one. Bye.